Hi, I'm here with Dark Templar of Holle, Teku. Bogatha couldn't be with us tonight, but we are Initiative Zero, and this is the Second City Chronicle, first story of Mice and Men. We're a few chapters in now. I think it's got to be coming to a close pretty soon, I'd imagine. But we'll find out because it's a kind of a open sandboxy sort of story where we, just see where the choices our characters have made, take them, and things are kind of starting to unfold. We really like to thank our new subscribers. We love having you aboard, and if you have any comments, please just toss them down into the spot below there. We'd love to hear from you. You can follow us on our Discord. We're on Twitter. We are on the internet, and so we're happy to have you. Buckle up and hang tight for the next installment of this first story of Mice and Men. And so I think we're going to kick it off with Teku's character, Christopher, because last time he was away. So we'll see where he's at here. Christopher Sloan, what are we doing? I believe it was the evening of Monday, December 12th, still for you.
Yeah, I think I had just... I was just talking to Bridger last time I was here.
Yeah, you guys were talking.
And that
you had
forever ago.
Yeah, you had a bit of a dinner, right? And then you went your separate ways. So what did you want to do? Or did you just want to go home and pick it up on Tuesday?
Well, I'd probably, if it's the evening, I'd probably head home. I'd want to fire off an email from my trusty 12-pound laptop, probably,
Okay.
to the different libraries in the area to keep an eye out for anyone inquiring about, and I'll describe the text that went missing and,
sure.
Any information, let me know.
Yep, that's cool. So we can make that as part of the investigation that's going on surrounding Albert Quay.
Okay.
Just because I know that Vinny has picked up a few clues surrounding that, and we already have Elliot has obviously been involved with that. He's the one with the book. Or had the book, he gave it away to somebody. But let's make it that. So again, when it comes to your investigation, what you need to do is what did we do there? When it comes to investigation, what you need to do is you're going to be looking for just how you want to do this investigation. Okay, so we know that you are going to be, in this case, you're looking for the book, which is somewhat tied to Albert. And so what sort of skill set are you going to use to do that? You're talking about your computer.
Yeah. So I figure computer would factor into it. And, at this point, I'm just putting out sort of a library-specific set of emails to request library staff and admin to keep an eye out. So that would probably fall under, I don't know. I don't know that would fall under writing necessarily, but...
No, I don't think it would fall under writing.
Outside of the verbiage of writing an email, yeah.
Yeah, you're essentially making use of your computer skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're also making use of your... it could very well be an investigative skill. It could also be an academic skill. So I'd imagine that this is probably an intelligence-based check.
Sure.
Right? You're going to try to do that. And I would say you're probably better off using your academics because you have a specialization in research, right?
Yeah.
And so this kind of makes use of that sort of research. You're looking for a book at various other libraries, right? It's a research skill. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not looking for a book. I'm looking for this book. Just any information on if it's
right. Not any. I don't mean any old book. Yeah, but what you're effectively doing, you would do it. You would use this same skill set to find any book, right? But you are looking for a particular book. I get that, right? So cool. Academics library. Can you just let's flip to page 3 for a second and see what that gives you here. So this is not an extended roll. You're not trying to accumulate a certain number of successes. This is, yeah.
And I'm not researching anything either, so I don't think that applies here.
No, you're using your skills with academics to obtain something. Cool. So
yeah, that's more like if I had like status in the library system.
Yeah, something like that.
That might apply, but that's not what this is.
Yeah, and that's fair. Cool. So you've got your intelligence plus academics. You're going to get an extra die because it works within your specialization. Are you using any willpower?
Ooh. It's a rare resource, and I've got one left. This does seem kind of important.
But it is close to the end of the day. You're going to sleep, which gets you back to 1.
Yeah. No, I'll throw it out.
Okay, cool.
And so I mean, this is in the pursuit of justice, so I guess that's kind of in keeping.
As long as it's very difficult, like you suffer for it, then it'll.
Well, at this point, it's a very long email. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
Carpal tunnel is real.
Wow, well done.
That's not bad.
No, that's very good. So you have yourself a success, and that success gets you a clue. So if you go on your page in your character sheet, down at the bottom, you have clues. Okay. You had vents used at library. Okay. You have one element for this clue. And this clue it pertains to where the book has popped up. And lo and behold, the book has a book matching the description that you put in. Anybody seen a book that's, that might be really old, leather bound, no title, manuscript sort of thing. And, you get a hit at the University of Illinois at Chicago, so UIC, which is on the north side of the river, which is where Eliot handed over the book to the library researcher there named James. And he has posted out questions about if anybody's missing this book from their collection, right? Essentially is what's been posted out there.
Okay.
And
missing book located at UIC.
And you know that you're missing the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet somebody else, somebody whose name is Roberta, at the Harold Washington Library, says that they are missing it from their collection. Please hold it. We will be there to get it.
At the where collection?
The Harold Washington Library. So the Harold Washington Library is the central public library building in the Chicago City Public Library System. And it is where the archives are for the city of Chicago, right? So the historical, special collections that basically contains a lot of Chicago historical documents.
Interesting. All right, well, I will note that as well. Competing library. Okay. Well, in that case, I will probably send this James character just a quick message asking to come in and speak to him before he releases it to this shifty Roberta character. Just explain the situation. We had something go missing probably about a week ago. There is an active police investigation. I would be able to identify it if I could just have a look at it. If it's not ours, no harm, no foul, they can take it, but this may well be ours.
All right. Cool. So you fire that off.
And then I will very likely send Professor Bridger an email as well. Just copy and pasting some of the information from the original posting, just so that he's aware, I'm on the trail, as it were.
All right. Cool. So you notify him. Is there anything else you wanted to do this evening?
The only other thing I wanted to do, I don't know if I would have access to library records remotely, but I was hoping to look into the cheerleader and football player, because we were able to narrow down a decade, and I feel like yearbooks have a limited number of football players and cheerleaders.
Yeah, so this is something that Grayson looked into. He has a book. Like, yeah. So, unfortunately, he's not accessible right now. But.
He scooped my aspiration and locked it out for the week. Good for him. Okay.
Yeah, but...
Well, in that case...
Yeah, and I think he might have even sent you an email or left you a message or something about it. So...
Yeah, but we've got to get to that point in the timeline.
Exactly, yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, other than recollecting my notes and trying to jot them down as best I can in various Word files as I continue trying to, hash something out worth writing about, it's probably a relatively uneventful evening for me, I hope.
Well, do you want... I mean, that one of your aspirations was to write something of significance and get it published. What are you? What is it that you're trying to write right now? Are you trying to write an article for something, or what?
Oh, I would probably go with something like a smaller local newspaper. I was working on Mr. Quay Jr., Alfred Quay Jr. Yeah.
Okay. Albert Quay. Yeah.
And Albert, yes.
He's not a junior.
Well, no, that.
Yeah.
And I did have a chance to speak with him ahead of his disappearance, but now he's disappeared, which is going to make following up that much harder. But having spoken to him ahead of that, and I mean, you can sort of cobble together the things that are known about him in the community as just sort of general knowledge. Is there enough there to start putting together a rough piece on sort of just creating a backdrop to his disappearance?
You could
start. And then end on a...
Yeah, you could start.
And this would specifically be... Yeah, this would specifically be more like a reaching out to the community to try and help. Because at this point, there's... From my side of the investigation, I haven't... Like, there's a couple ties of the Quay family to the book. But there's nothing nefarious as yet.
Right.
And so I would still try and approach it in more of a positive, like if anyone knows anything, it really would be helpful to the police and the family.
Yeah. Did you go back to the library when you were doing all of this, sending the email and the like? I'd imagine you would have if you're making use of your academic skills.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If that's a... again, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do that remotely because I don't really remember...
You'd probably have better access. You'd have better access to the library network at the library.
Yeah, they would have an intranet of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cool. And then you may as well have done some writing since you're there and it's cold outside, rather than pack everything up and walk or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Just trying to locate you. Yeah. So if you want to, this would be kind of an extended test that you would use to produce something worth writing, worth publishing. It's always worth writing. It's just whether or not somebody likes it is something completely other. But
I don't know that there are things worth writing, but okay.
Oh, there's always something worth writing, I'm sure. But let's see. This would be an expression check of some sort, and if you're going to compose something, here you're probably doing some investigative type stuff. So I would say you're looking at an intelligence check. So intelligence plus expression.
Yep.
Right. And you're going to, you said you have a specialization in writing?
I do. I have a specialization in writing and in academic research.
Okay. So
now, I don't know that academic research would apply here.
No, but writing would, right? Because you're trying to produce something worth publishing. So, you're hoping to produce something satisfactory to you that you're going to put out there for publication. So, it kind of works like this then. So you're going to need to achieve a certain number of successes in order to produce something worth publishing. Okay, and so I'm going to say that you have the right tools and the right knowledge. So I'm going to say that you need about 5 successes to do so. Every roll is, a few hours work. Okay, like an evening's worth of work as you kind of work away at this in your spare time. So we'll say the amount of work that you've put into this so far is minuscule. It's organizational, right? You've got you've got basic research, some notes, but now you're trying to compose. So you can give us a roll. It would be your intelligence plus your expression plus your what's it called there? Your specialization.
Yep.
And you're trying to achieve 5 total successes here. Okay. If you are successful, you add your successes to the total. If you get an exceptional success, we'll cross that bridge when you get there. If you fail, there's you could obtain a condition of some sort, and if you dramatically fail, things get hard. So it's up to you how we proceed there.
Yeah.
But so give us a roll then, and let's see what you get.
All right. Lacking willpower, are there any negatives I need to be aware of?
Not really. You're not really penalized by anything here.
I'm not really competing with much except the keyboard, but I figured I'd check.
Yeah.
All right. That, and modifier of.
Okay.
Better
So
than
you
nothing.
accumulate a success. Cool. So you kind of put a dent in it. So 4 more successes you need. So you might want to keep track of that somewhere on your sheet.
Yeah, I'll throw that in bio.
Yeah, for sure. And so you're plugging away, and that's when you hear kind of that sound of scraping metal again.
Oh, the vent. Hate the vent. 1 of 5 successes. All right. Sorry, just ended up closing some stuff here. Okay. So, given my own interest in this vent, I'm just going to try and reread my shake-in here.
Yeah. I'm just going to put it up for everybody to see on.
Yep. That's literally step 1 of this whole process.
Audience here. Yeah. So something has frightened you extensively. Right, where that fear might hinder you, you can opt to fail, and if you choose to fail the roll, you have to do it before you make the roll. You shed the condition, gain a beat, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Well, assuming that this is your standard, B-rated slasher flick where I look around, there's of course no one else in the area. I am the lone light in the dark of this space.
You're going over toward the vent by that, you mean?
Yeah, at that point. Is there anyone else around?
Not really, no. You kind of stayed late and were typing away, and you're alone in the library. Well, as far as you can tell. So you had your...
So I will follow the sound, but I assume that it's coming from the vent. Or a vent, I should say.
Do you want to just walk nonchalantly? Are you trying to approach in any particular way? Are you...
Oh, I think sneakiness is probably in my best interest.
Yeah, so you're going to use a dexterity plus stealth roll.
So this is what I don't like, is this is like a new character. Classically, everything that I've ever made is so bad at stealth.
And you're going to be against this person's resolve. So Let me just see what that might be here. Ooh, penalty of 4. Quite a high resolve.
Okay. Well, this is good, though, because it's in keeping with all of my other characters. Now, I have a question. This shaken,
Yeah.
would that apply to this?
Are you
Okay, cool.
You
I'm just going to fail the roll.
I was gonna say you could mess up because you're scared.
Yeah,
right?
I'm absolutely doing that because it's both fitting and probably a good call anyway.
All right, so you gain a beat from resolving that condition, and how do you fail?
I would probably try and duck behind one of those carts that they push books around on and end up just shoulder blocking the hell out of the cart and sending it down a staircase.
Well, you didn't dramatically fail. I mean, if you want, you can dramatically fail and get another beat.
Well, no.
No?
I thought that was the direction we were going here. We don't have to.
Yeah, you just
Minds
failed.
of Moria this
You
thing.
just didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could, if you want to Minds of
then in
Moria,
that case,
you can take another beat. I'm just saying.
Oh God.
It's your call.
No, we'll just go with a typical fail.
Okay.
And I'll bump the cart instead of straight down the well.
All right, so you're kind of at the end of the side hallway there that has the vent in it, and you hear the vent is off. You hear a grumbling sound, and you see Stephen pull his head out of his head appears. He's coming head first out of the vent, and he's grumbling to himself. He's kind of angry, kind of even just kind of cussing under his breath, sort of thing, and then he's starting to pick up the grate and put it back on the wall when you inadvertently clang, and he looks right over at you, crouched there beside the book.
Yeah, so he has spotted me.
Oh yeah.
Well, in that case, I will pick up a book from the shelf, stand up, and wow, you scared me. I didn't even know you were over there. You're working late.
And you can't even convince him that's
yeah.
And
the book was more like in case I need to throw it later.
Yeah, well, that's fine. And you're working late too. He says, one eye looking at you, the other eye kind of roaming around.
Yeah, well, I do that sometimes. You catching more mice?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it rats?
Rats. Who was working on the vents?
I'm sorry?
Somebody was working on the vents. Who was it?
When? Like just now? Earlier? What do you mean?
And he kind of lowers his look so that he's kind of looking up under his brow at you. And he points to the vent. Who? Who was in there? I told you to leave the vents to me.
Well, what makes you think I would know anything about that?
And he steps closer to you. And he says, I know you know something. I told you to leave the vents to me.
Well, what's the issue with the vents? I thought it was mice. Or was it rats?
Something's broken.
Seems like a pretty straightforward... Something's broken. That's a different matter entirely.
Somebody did something to these vents, and I want to know who.
Well, I can safely tell you, as far as doing something to these vents, no, that's a little beyond me.
And he kind of, his hands are, he's got that nervous thing with his hands. But they suddenly stop. He's very focused now. Just stops shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of starts looking around the space, kind of sizing up the area around you.
Mm-hmm. I'm still next to that cart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Still book in hand. Hopefully it's a hardcover, I guess.
Sure.
But again, we'll light that firecracker when we come to it.
Yeah.
And seeing him look around, I mean, I'll start doing more or less the same thing, but I'm not letting him out of my line of sight because I'm getting the impression he's about to do something silly.
And yeah. So let's see, his gaze falls back on you.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, it's stuffy in here now. You did this. You and that professor.
It's stuffy?
That's what he says, yeah. And he almost kind of gives the air a bit of a sniff.
So either somebody blocked the vent or one of the fans isn't working.
Somebody blocked the vent, is what he says.
And I think the supposition that someone's blocking vents in a library is a bit outlandish. Have you checked the fan?
No, I checked the vent. It's blocked.
Because a mechanical fit. It's blocked.
And he just
blocked
kinda,
with what?
He just kind of nods.
Blocked with what?
Steps a bit closer. Smells, gives a sniff, kind of leaning toward you. But no, he's not very close, but he just kind of goes.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say blocked with what?
Steel.
So, again, let me get this straight. You're asking me, if we went in there and blocked a vent in the library, no, to the best of my understanding, that's not a thing we did.
You were in there, though.
Oh, maybe.
What were you doing?
But we weren't in there blocking anything off.
What were you doing?
Looking for rats.
Did you find any?
We found something, but it wasn't exactly rats.
What did you
Again,
find?
I'm looking for a book.
Mm-hmm. You didn't find a book in there, though, did you? He takes another step closer.
We found something else. How close is he now?
I'd say he's still out of arm's reach. Like he's...
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, a quick move and he would be close enough.
Well, it's not a big space to begin with.
Yeah. So, what'd you find?
Nothing that would have blocked a vent.
Something that would have unblocked a vent?
Unblocked a vent? Sorry, you've lost me again.
Loose panel?
Let's get down to it. What do you think I found?
I think you found fresh air.
Now, why would there be fresh air down there?
Because you found a way out.
And I'll kind of Not exactly side-eye him, but I'll change my gesture ever so slightly and say, and what if I had?
Then I want to know what you did to fix it.
To fix it?
To fix
We got in there, and stuck our head in and then left. Because there's things in there that don't like it when people stick their head in, it seems.
He kind of smiles.
But I think you knew that already.
A lot of work went into that. Who fixed it?
Again, I don't know what needed to be fixed.
And says, I think you know. And with that, he's going to lunge. And we're going to move into a combat situation.
Okay.
Combat, again, is preceding initiative is intention. So, right, the order of combat is such that we would say you and my storyteller character describe what you want out of this contention, out of this fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, so basically, I would say that that Steve here wants to force answers out of you the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what he's going to want, initially anyway. What
Okay.
do you want?
Oh, probably to escape.
Okay. So is it possible for there to be surrender? So I guess what that means is it possible that your character would give in should Steve get the upper hand?
I'd say that's probably reasonable, given that I'm really not much of a fighter.
Pussy.
Those vents are fucked. Not everyone's out there living in the streets, doing flips off of park benches to try and impress the first woman they come across in the story, man. Sorry.
At least I got a woman.
Oh,
Bitch.
Yeah, until the next four-legged long tooth thing comes around, snatches her up.
cool.
Bitch.
Carol 2.0.
Oh,
Bitch.
Oh.
Who's Carol again?
See, I was actually getting ready to Clayton this with the book, but now I'm like, wait a minute.
the Hilo keeps unmuting. I'm sure he wants to say something.
I saw that, yeah.
It's harder to get a rise out of non-Golgothas. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible for you to surrender, which means it's possible to become beaten down, right? And give in. Okay. So this is where we roll initiative then.
Okay.
So on your character sheet, you know how to do the initiative thing. All right. Just make sure you switch your die roll to initiative. And I get to roll a single die.
Do I have to select my character for this? I'll do it just in case.
I think
okay.
just
Yep.
for fun. And what do we get? 15. So you got 13, you got 15.
Ooh.
Good times. So he's going to go first. And yeah, he's going to lunge at you and try to grab you. So what is your defense?
Mm-hmm. That would be further down the sheet, I think. 4.
4? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You manage to push his grab off there. And what are you going to do?
Well, if he's been pushed off, I'm probably going to flip the cart in front of him and then take off running.
Okay, cool. So you are going to basically, flip that there. So it's gonna turn into a sort of chase. What's your speed?
9.
9. Okay.
Mhm.
So his is slightly higher than you. You're trying to get away from him. If he catches up to you, he will get to re-engage in this fashion.
Mhm.
But you do have the edge in this case. What's your initiative modifier here? What do we got? So you got 6. Okay. So his initiative is higher than yours.
6 plus. I think
Yeah,
there's
just
a
the
merit in
modifier.
there.
Just the modifier, not the roll.
Oh,
Yeah.
So plus 7 then.
I see a dexterity plus composure.
And fast reflexes.
Oh, you got the fast reflexes. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah. So his speed is higher than yours, and his initiative modifier is higher than yours. All right. So that means you need 6 successes, and he needs 4 successes to get away. Well, you to get away, him to catch you.
Yeah.
All right. You don't start with any particular lead here. You both know the area the same, so it's not any advantage to either of you.
Yeah, there's no advantages that way.
Yeah. So, which dice pool are you going to use to first try to get some successes here? You said you're going to flip the cart, right? So that's probably, a strength plus athletics check.
Sure. Strength, athletics, and yeah. Okay. Any negatives to consider? It is
really.
1 book lighter.
Yeah. Well, and so you get the 17th of a bonus. So.
Yeah.
1 success. Cool.
There you
and he has to also roll strength plus athletics to try to gain his successes, and so he will do that. And he makes 2 successes, so he's 2 out of his 4. You're 1 out of your 6. You have the edge still. So you tell me what happens. Describe what happens as you flip the cart and run.
At this point, if he's going to lunge at me, I'll more or less try and sidestep him. As I go past, I would just shove the cart in his direction and just take off sprinting.
Okay, down book aisles, right?
Yep.
Like books flying, like the stacks of book on either side are a blur as you just head down charge. Cool. All right, you have the edge. You get to call the dice pool that you're going to use to try to accumulate more successes in this chase. Change the scene for me in the library. You get out of the book, the stacks of books. Where are you? Think of a big library.
Yeah. So I'm probably darting between tables with the reading lights on them.
Yeah.
There would be. I'm thinking like a double high roof. You'd have.
Gotcha.
The 2nd level overlooking, maybe the 3rd level even.
Yeah, there's probably a staircase around.
Not the best way to lose someone, short of just hoping to outrun them. But
yeah, you could just try to outrun. That's a straight.
That's where we're going with this. It's not a attempt to hide.
No, but it could be an attempt to outmaneuver, right? Like it could be rather than climbing the stairs, you hop on the side ledge and leap to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there's different ways that you can use your various pool. Maybe you could file yourself incorrectly using the Dewey Decimal System. I don't know. There's probably some
lose them that way.
That's right.
I'm going to fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
Well, I know where the exits are.
Yeah,
I know where the emergency.
You don't have your
exits
coat. You don't have your computer, right?
Oh, and yeah, we're gonna want that. All right. Well, I would probably lead him on a merry chase. I'd try and make it up the stairs. Well, first I'd try and cross the floor, make it up the stairs, and then double back, scoop my stuff up on my way out the door, and then be done with it.
Okay, so you want to try to lose him. So maybe you're looking at your wits and your Subterfuge, possibly, as you try
Yeah, that
to,
sounds about fair. Yeah.
like that's. I'm
Negotiate
just trying
the
to
scene.
find a dice pool. Go with your strengths. Obviously, you've got the lead.
Yeah. But getting up to the second floor and maybe pulling a jump down might be in my future.
Yeah, you could
But-
do that. Yeah,
Again, we'll light that firecracker when we come to it.
yeah, for sure.
So
All
we'll
right.
start with the wits and subterfuge.
Yeah, go for it, and you get that. Now, before you roll, declare the number of successes you think you're going to get.
Oh, right. We'll say 1. I want to say 2, but we'll say 1.
All right.
Dicks.
Nope. All right. So if he doesn't get his successes, you still retain the edge. So
Okay.
this was wits plus subterfuge. He doesn't have that, so he's going to take a -1 penalty on a different dice pool. He won't get 10 again on the roll because he's switching dice pools. But he's going to try to use his stealth and try to kind of ambush you, like try to get ahead of you and around you. That's how he's going to try to gain successes here, so that while you're running, he is able to anticipate where you're going to be. So in this case, he is going to roll his wits plus stealth -1, but he doesn't get 10 again. So I will look and see if there are any rerolls here. So let's see. Oh, look at all those 10s.
Jesus.
So he doesn't get the 10 again, though. So he only gets the first 7. Or sorry, he only gets the, how many dice did I roll? 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he got 4 successes. So without even doing any of the rerolls. But which means it's not exceptional, which is lucky for you. I didn't call it, but I would have never called 7 successes, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, really.
And it means that he's also met his target number, right? He's made his
He's
successes.
right on top of me again.
And so, you made your way. You said you're using your wits plus subterfuge to make your way around. You kind of set up the stairs, maybe jump down, and just kind of as you're stopping to catch your breath there, he managed to paint himself to look like the wall, and he opens his eye. No, he's not Ramboing it, but he's
kind of Zoolander. Yeah,
he's Zoolander's. Yeah. No, he basically comes out from behind a pillar and goes to grab you again. So you won't get, you'll get your defense. He gets the jump on you, but it's not because you were surprised. You're obviously expecting the worst. So he's going to, he's going to try to grab you again. Your defense again is
4.
4. Okay. So, So he's going to try again. 1 success. So he does indeed grab you this time. And, he's got you in a grapple. So what this means is that, so grapple in this version of the rules, the second edition, is a little bit different than from before. What it does is it essentially you've lost your initiative and you act on his initiative. So so you don't get a turn, right? He got you, and now on his turn, it's a contested roll of strength versus brawl versus strength versus brawl. So that's that's what happens here. So it's
already
actually
miss my old character.
Well, you never know what will happen. So
yes, I do.
Okay, so he gets a strength plus. He gets a strength plus brawl. We're not worrying about defense now, and you get a strength plus brawl. He gets 3 successes, and you have 0.
I was going to say that's more than the number of dice I'm going to be starting with.
Yeah. So what?
Handily.
Yeah, and so what he does is he he basically gets you into a hole. He kind of pins you, and he he's kind of got you in a chokehold up against the wall, right? And he's almost snarling, but it looks almost like when he snarls and you kind of look at his mouth, it looks kind of like he's got like cotton in his mouth almost. You see little tufts of white, and he's like, "Tell me who closed it." So, it's a
Tufts of white like foam, or tufts of white like there's something in there?
Yeah, like I said, it reminds you almost of cotton, like that kind of fluffy consistency, but wet.
Ew. And I'll say back, closed what?
Yeah, and he says the vent, and again, we have to do another grapple check here. There's not much exchange you can do as you're like oh, closed what, right? Like you're being choked out.
Yeah.
So so it's again strength plus brawl versus strength plus brawl. Oh.
I feel like this is going to be a consistent set of scores.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. Because are you rolling 0 dice?
Pretty much, yeah.
Then you need to re-roll for chance.
Oh, so this is chance, yeah. Okay, hang on.
So first one, give me a re-roll. So just a chance die on the first one. And did you get a 0? Or sorry, a 1?
No.
No, you did not. Okay.
No, we got very close.
So you just failed. Now the second one, you can roll a chance die. And again, not a 1. So you're just failing. That's always good when you just fail.
Yeah.
So he is, he's basically got you restrained now by pretty well having you at his mercy. Like he's knocked your knees out. He's got you effectively immobilized. Okay. And you do have the option of surrendering, right? Mm-hmm. If you choose to surrender and tell him, you can be like, "I'll tell you everything I know," right? And that might placate. That would end the violence because he's got you pinned. Yeah. All he has to do now is keep squeezing, right? And you'll start to take some damage. So you do have that option just to surrender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might actually go that way. Just explaining, like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Explain it.
I'll
try and work with
I would say the reason that sort of thing's not going to work. What would work is you just spilling everything you know, right? You're running out of air, right? Like, be like, "This is what I know," and just details, right? Like, here's what I encountered. This is what happened. I didn't touch your stuff.
There's a ghost.
I didn't fix anything, like that sort of thing.
I'm not taking away a union job. Chill out.
Yeah, you're in desperation, right? When at this point, so it's not that you're, you tell me what you know and I'll tell you what I know. You can't do that, right? He's got the upper hand here.
Well, I'm not even looking to know what he knows. I just want to know what he wants.
Yeah, he's talking about
who fixed the vent is
right. So you're gonna
because to my eye, neither of us put the vent back. We just sort of ran.
Yeah, but
he would already know that if he was in the vent. So that lends itself to the notion that that's not what he's looking for.
You would. So it's not a Q&A sort of thing though right now. Like you don't have the time to try to figure out what exactly it is that he wants.
No. That's just
running out of air.
my No, at that point, sure. I mean, it's plainly obvious I'm not getting away from this overclocked chameleon fool. And yeah, we'll go with the I'll tell you what I know. Just fucking chill out.
Yeah. So you do give in. That means you gain a point of willpower, and you gain a beat.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you gain a beat for surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
And that means if he wants to continue to attack you, he has to spend a point of willpower to do so, and likely he'll suffer a breaking point as well if he's motivated by the same sort of morals that you are. But yeah. So you are, you have surrendered, and and you spill the beans, telling him you went into the vent.
We went in, we saw the loose plate, pushed it over, poked around, saw the field. Cheerleader turned into football player. 86, that whole scene, because it's awful, came back out the vent. So what is it you're looking for? Because outside of that, I don't know what to tell you.
Right, and he says, I want it to all come crashing down. And he's got you pinned still, right? He's not going to hurt you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he begins to move you along, drag you along. You can try to break out of the hold if you want, but you did surrender. So
yeah, no, I'll just start asking him, what does that mean? You want it all to come breaking down?
Yeah, and he brings you over to the elevator, right? He's got you kind of, again, he's dragging you along, got you kind of with one arm around your neck sort of thing, right? Pushes the button, you can hear the elevator ding sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And moves you inside. And when it closes, he flips you around and still has you kind of pinned there. The elevator begins to move down, and he says, you'll know soon enough. The wall between the worlds needs to come down. And he just this is getting too tight. Right? He kind of shuffles his shoulders a little bit. But you'll do. I spent a long time gnawing at that. And somebody fixed it. Somebody fixed it. If it wasn't you, I'll know soon enough anybody that you came into contact with. And he opens.
And at this point, I'm looking around at the sheer lack of exits in this place.
Oh, yeah. He opens his mouth up very wide, hyperextends his jaw, and what seems to poke out is the muzzle, like it's damp white fur, kind of so you can how fur gets like clumpy and stuff like that when it's wet. I'm
just imagining the worst xenomorph ever, by the way.
It has 3 pink snouts. So it's like 3 muzzles that are kind of stuck together into forming one mouth. So it has 3 little pink snouts with lots of whiskers coming off the ends, very fine, clear, almost whiskers. The joined mouth of the 3 snouts opens. It's almost like if you've seen The Howling, kind of when the mouth of that same sort of thing. So it kind of does that, except his face begins to split at the center of his lip, and then it tears up one side of his face like that. The mouths of you can see as more of the head of this pokes out. It's like the head of 3 rats, man-sized rats, so very big head fused together, with 3 mouths and still only 2 sets of eyes, but it's all wet inside, pushing out, and a long pink tongue kind of slathering dripping gore, that sort of thing. He's gripping you tightly. You've surrendered, and it goes into to bite you when the door slides open. You met Irving Bluefort before, I think.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he was the
professor.
other professor that, yeah.
Yeah. And, he basically says, "Oh, that'll be enough of that," as he's standing at the door that slides open. And he uses a lecture pointer and points at the rodent thing, and mutters a few things. I'm trying to think. And he it just kind of freezes there, holding you like it's caught, like it just paused. And
were those intentional puns, by the way?
Which one?
The rat is caught as though it was in a trap, and it paused because. Anyway,
pause, yeah.
Sorry.
No, look at you. We're looking at all possible things. Yeah, and
you have to pay attention to these things.
This is true. And he says, "Let's get you out of here before this unravels." And he just kind of shouts to the air, "Mystara, please take care of this thing." Or sorry, he shouts to the air, "Magistra, please take care of this thing." And he kind of leads you out. You, my friend, are going to suffer a huge breaking point.
Yeah, I would expect so. Because were I not being choked, there'd be a whole bunch of screaming, probably.
You were probably trying very hard to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to Deus Ex Machina this whole thing to you here, but you were really not in a place to fight. So, yeah.
That's where we were at.
Yeah. So cool.
Dice demanded.
Yeah. And let's see what we got here. So you are it's you got your. All right, so let's take a look at our integrity. What's your integrity again?
Should still be where we started. Let me have a look here.
Still at 7?
Yeah, still at 7.
Cool. So that gives you're going to roll resolve plus composure plus 1. You have witnessed a major supernatural occurrence. You also endured physical supernatural attack. And witnessed the supernatural violent. And so...
Do I have a willpower back because I surrendered?
You do, yeah.
That might be useful for this.
It could be. Depends what you want to do. Do you want to use it?
This seems pretty serious.
You were protecting yourself. You'll get a +1 there. You get a +1 for having an integrity of 6 or 7. But that's all the bonuses that you would get. So
there's going to be are there going to be a whole pile of negatives, I assume?
Well, I just kind of listed a whole bunch of things that were going on there. So
yeah. Yeah, it's probably best to throw willpower at it just in case.
So you'll have a +5. Immediately, that supernatural occurrence that happened is a -5 because it is exceedingly reality breaking. So it will eat up your bonus. Your physical attack that you suffered from the supernatural is a -2. In addition, you will have been a witness to supernatural violence, so another -2. And your vice is ambition, so it's not going to necessarily having to do with ambition. So it is, your total is -4, right? So resolve plus composure -4 is your total. And let me go back here. There we go.
That was a good use of the willpower then, I
It would have
think.
been ugly.
Yeah. It didn't help.
No, you have to reroll. You're on your chance die.
Oh, we're still on chance die. Gotcha. Okay. Sheet roll, normal. Resolve, composure, -4.
So 0
That didn't help.
successes. Your choice, if you want to, you can always spend a point, or so you can always accept a dramatic failure for a beat. You do get a beat for having to make this roll in the first place, but it's up to you.
You know what? It actually seems interesting and in line with the story to take a dramatic failure.
Okay. And it'll also get you to that 5th beat, which is nice. So that means that you are either broken, in a fugue, or suffering madness. Let's see what those do.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dramatic failures aren't bad. They're interesting. So let's see. You could be broken. You could be in a fugue. Or it could be madness. Let's see.
Broken's getting a little too close to the fate here.
What's your fate again?
Broken.
Okay, cool. That's not bad. So whatever you did, you saw something inside you snapped. You can barely muster the will. Okay, so you're just really on edge. Fugue means I get a pool of dice that I get to use against you, I think, which is interesting. Let's see what it gives us. Hello. Are you going to do anything for me? Well, there's madness. Let's see. Character saw or did something that jarred you loose from reality. I get a pool for madness. That's what it is. Once per chapter, I can apply those dice as a negative modifier. Ooh, fun. There's fugue. Whenever circumstances become too similar to the situation that led you to gain this condition, the player resolves a result. Okay. So any of those are
all
applicable.
of these seem mechanically troubling.
Well, yeah, they're the dramatic failure conditions.
Yeah. You know what? Broken does seem to tie pretty tight with how I built this guy, so I might go with broken.
Okay. And so you've become broken. And it's a persistent condition, which means it doesn't go away easily, right? Again, to resolve it, so you need to regain a dot of integrity, lose another dot of integrity, or achieve an exceptional success on a breaking point to shed the condition. But for persistent conditions, you get a beat every time it applies. So that means your integrity does reduce by 1. So it goes down to 6. And you get an additional beat for a dramatic failure on a breaking point. So you experienced a terrible thing that basically makes you rewrite your experience. So you, at the end of a scene where you witness something obviously reality breaking like that, you begin to come up with an explanation for
rationalization.
Rationalize it out. So what is your rationalization? What happened in your mind as you rewrite this story for yourself?
I was working. I heard a scrape. I went over. I saw Steve.
Just the portion. Just the portion from when it got supernatural.
Yeah. Oh. So in the elevator.
Yeah, not the whole deal. I mean, you can have that as backstory, but most of that.
Well, I just figured he was under the influence of something, and in the elevator specifically, I figure he went on just a disjointed tirade about the government and going absolutely sideways about the whole thing. And Yeah, honestly, I don't know how else to try and cover that
So how would
in a mundane sort of way.
how would Irving Bluefort have intervened in a mundane way?
Oh, I don't know. Showed up and spooked him
Yeah, calmed him down,
because
got you out of there.
he might carry the appearance of a G-man, which would scare him right off.
Okay.
He's going on a tirade about the government. All of a sudden, government shows up.
Ooh, there you go. But yeah, so in the elevator when he was starting to get violent with you, the door opened and Irving Bluefort was there, and he basically talked him down, right, and got you out of there. What you also remember is going home, feeling exhausted, going to sleep, and waking up the next day. And that's where we'll give you a point of willpower back. And that is the end of that particular episode for today. We thank you for tuning in. And if you liked this, please hit the like button. If you want to know when more of this is coming, hit the bell and subscribe to really support the channel so we can spend more time doing this sort of stuff. So thanks a lot for coming again and watching. And I'm Magnum Pi. I'm here with Dark Templar, Vahilo, and Teku. And we are Initiative Zero.